Rebecca from Papeterie de Choix, and I'm here with another thrift book ephemera in the series, episode in the series. And I bet you're wondering what it is that I have here, because it's not a book. So, last year I had a book. This is the inside title page of the book, and you can see that I coffee stained it very lightly. And I took a few pages out of the book, two images particularly that I did a project with last year. And so this is the first, I think this is actually the first one I did. I'm not sure now, but you'll see it here in a second what I'm talking about. Let me do it this way. So this was the image out of the book, like this. And I ripped it in half. This was my first time ever collaging, and so I was nervous. But it turned out okay, and what I did was I used the full image, and then a piece of music paper, and then something out of a regular book, and then a piece out of the back of this, out of another flower book, and then just decorated it up and that sort of thing. And I lined it with, on the back I lined it with a double thickness of some tissue, not tissue, but like really lightweight craft paper. It's almost like tissue. That has these squares on it, printed on it, and I knew that I really didn't want that for crafts, so I'm using it as backing paper. So that's that. And then let me show you this before I go any further so you'll understand this. So this is the, like I said, the title page, and then the pages that I didn't coffee dye, I just kept. Because what this was a flower press book, and it had all these spaces to put dried flowers to press them. So I kept them, not really sure what I was going to do with them. So when I was looking for something to do this project with, I remembered these book pages, and I remember that I had kept all of the pages that go with the image, like this. Now, this one is the only one that does not have like little picture frames on the back. So I took this sheet with the notes on one side to go with this to give it what I want to do with it. Now, I don't know that I'm going to do any more like this, but what I want to do basically is make pages, rip the edges, fold it in half, and then have this type of thing maybe on the inside with a pocket. But of course I'm going to dye this, get the white off of it. So I went through and got everything separated out for the type of the flower that it is. And so that's what all of this is here. All the images that I had left over that I have been putting off what I was going to do with them, because I just couldn't get my brain and my hands to work together on this. But a few minutes ago, when I was looking through all this, I had a piece left over that went with the other one I did. And the other one I did, when I made this journal back 3 or 4 months ago, I used it on the inside. So you have half of it, make sure I'm under the camera, have half of it over here, and then you have the other half over here, the back side. And on this one I use little birds. And what started this is I actually have another book that's exactly the same as the one that I took the images of these birds out of. And it got me thinking about these images, so it was like a process. So what I did just a few minutes ago was I took some of my watercolor ink that I made. It's just watercolor with just enough water in it to make it liquid instead of pasty. It's out of a tube, and then filled it full of alcohol. I'll show you. This is just that carnelian, I think it's called, and it's just in a a 4 ounce, 3 ounce, whatever spray bottle with, like I said, I had like a third of a tube. Put the paint in here, put just maybe ½ inch or so of water in here, and fill the rest up with alcohol, and so I use it when I need something pink or red. So what I did a few minutes ago is I took the page that had the rock rose on the back of it, and I used the pink ink along with some kind of heavy duty coffee, and I split it down the middle this way so that it has rock on one side, and I just folded it like this, tucked it in this little thing in here, and it goes in here, and that way all the pages are together. I have a little bit of OCD like that. My husband gets on to me sometimes because I'm the type that has to have matching sets of everything. And then on this side, I took the other side and did the same thing with the rose part on this side, and I just grunged it up really good using the coffee alcohol ink that I make and the one made from watercolor. So I did all of that and said all of that to say that I'm sort of cheating just a little bit because it's a book that I've already cut up, but it is book pages. So I don't know yet if I'm going to make some more like this, if I want to do some more collages. I haven't made up my mind, and if so, then I'll do a couple of those. But the object is to finish using these pages that I have coffee dyed from last year, and then color the pages that go with them, and then use them together either to make journal pages like big pockets, or more collage, or something else. So anyway, that's what's on the agenda for today. So stick around and we'll see how it goes. So I have decided what I'm going to do with the page that goes with these two collage pieces. It's a Meadow Buttercup, and so what I have prepared here is some of my homemade alcohol inks. This one is coffee from coffee beans as opposed to brewed coffee. This one is tea, and it's brewed tea but very strong, but it's all alcohol. I've had this for probably about 2 weeks now, and the coffee I've had for, I don't know, close to a year maybe. And then this is alcohol ink made from yellow watercolor paint, and it's very bright, as you can see. What is on here is a mixture of the coffee, tea, and the yellow. So I'm going to add just a tiny bit more of the yellow. It's very bright, so I really should have my pipette in here, but I don't. But I'm just going to put a couple of little drops, or several drops I suppose, and I'm going to let it spread out slightly, and then I'm just going to put this piece of paper down. I'm going to put the print side down first, and then just press it lightly so that it will soak up everything from the other side. So what I've decided to do with these is I'm going to, once I get it all finished and dried, I'm going to rip it down the edge, or down the middle rather, rip the edges, and then use this as, I guess, a tip-in. I'm going to glue it on one side, on the long side, on the back of each of those collage pieces so that wherever I put it in a journal, it will just be like an extra page. Okay, so let's see what we've got. That looks pretty good. I like to make pages that, it don't always turn out this way, but I do like making pages that look somewhat authentically aged, if that's possible. And I have found that the best way to do that is with alcohol and then whatever colorant that you want to put in it. Because alcohol will evaporate, but also lets it spread. Because you saw I put those 3 dots, but they didn't soak up as one little crater like thing. It spread out. So let's see now what this side looks like. That looks pretty good, but I want this darker. So I'm going to lay that right over here at the edge real careful like. And I'm going to put just a little bit of coffee in here. And when I lay it down, it's going to make this a lot darker. I think I'm going to let it drip in here a little bit so it'll spread out. But that to me is just too light. So let's see what we get here. I can see it absorbing a little bit, so let's see what we've got. Oh yeah. Now the one thing I don't like though is just what I've got is the runs. I don't like the runs. I don't think any of us like the runs, do we? And that's because of the amount of liquid that I have on here. So usually what I do when I have a lot of liquid like that, I have a selection of old napkins, like cloth napkins and different things, and I'll use them to absorb the extra. Yeah. And that just got rid of that runny part. So now this will need to dry, and so I'll dry it and go ahead and rip the edges, and once I rip the edges I will double dip those. I like the edges being a little darker, so I'll double dip those. So let me dry this and come back, and we'll finish this part of the project. So I'm going to, so that's how it turned out. I did go back and put just a little bit more of this. I just dipped a few little spots in and dried it. So I think I'll use this as my guide. I'm just going to take the very edges off, and I just do it by eye. I don't mind if it has, I actually like it when it has that ripped look at the bottom like that. I'm going to try to make this one small. And then I'm going to go just under this writing right here. Okay. And I'll just pinch off. Then I'm going to kind of go about halfway here. Take a minute. And there we go. And I'm just going to add some coffee to it. Now, one of the things that I do when I do this, I don't clean it up. I actually let it dry because it'll evaporate. And then when I want to come in later, I'll just spritz it with some water or add more alcohol to it, and toss it back and forth just a little bit, and then just color whatever it is that I want to color. I'll try to take that little piece of print off that I missed. Okay, so let's see what we've got. You can see how the alcohol is moving it. You see that little, looks like a storm going on down in there. Now you know how the weather works. So let's see what we've got here. That's quite a bit darker. There we go. Now the other things that I like the watermarks when they go onto the paper. Let's just put, and when you rip the edges and you have that tear mark, it opens the fibers up to the paper on the end, like between the layers, and it helps it absorb, and that's what you see going on through here. Alrighty, so I'm going to put this back in its slot over here, and now I'm going to go dry these, and then I'll be back and I actually have changed my mind on gluing them to make a page. I still want to use these as big pockets like you saw in the journal a few minutes ago. So what I'm going to do is make these like a journaling card. So I'm going to dry them. I'll be back shortly. So I've got those dry, and I've picked out a lace that's a little bit darker green, but it will work because green is green. It goes with that green pretty good, don't it? So what I'm going to do is get a pair of scissors and cut two little tabs, basically. And after it being 20 and below here last week, this week is starting out, we're in the 50s, and now I'm burning up. Okay, so using these as my guide, like that, I want to put a little tab, very similar that I did the other ones, just above the mellow buttercup, roughly in the middle. And I'm just going to staple it with my little bitty stapler. Okay, there's that one. And then this one, I'm going to do this way. I hear the train going through. You might be able to hear it too. We actually live about a mile or more away from the train, but when they blow their horn, I think everybody hears it. I live in a little town that, well, it's not so little, but little enough, that is known as a railroad town here in the South. And at one time, the depot, or depot depending on where you are, was second only to the Red Square in Russia. That's part of what the history of this town has. Of course, the depot is gone and they turned it into Main Street, but it's still huge. Okay, so what these are going to be, when I want to use these at the beginning of a journal for inside the cover like I did on the other ones. And what I want with these is to just have them as giant pockets inside, so they will look like that. And actually this. And I don't know if this is the one I'll use with each one, but anyway, they would look like this one being in the front, this one being in the back, and that way the pictures line back up here. So I ended up making another pocket, and I have here the other side, and I just went ahead and prepared some stuff. This is simple collage, I suppose. I don't collage a lot. I do enjoy it tremendously. I really need to do it more often. So, but what I'm going to do with you right now is just make the mirror image of this. And so, with that, I'm going to start with the dictionary page, and I'm just going to put the glue stick all over, and I'm not worried about getting right up to the edges at this point. When I get my thinking cap on, when I go to look at the edges from this side, if there's anything that needs to be glued down at the edges, I'll just use my PVA and just spot glue it where it needs to go. But for the most part, this is it, and I'm going to pull this back because it's not as straight as I would like it to be. Okay, that looks much better. And then comes the music paper, and I forgot on this one to ink the edges of the book page and the music paper, especially the book page. So I'm not going to be doing it on this one, but that was an oversight on my part. So when I do more of these, I will be inking the edges that will be seen on the book pages. So I'm just going to kind of just put that like that. And this is going to go this way. I did sort of roughly do the measurements. And this afternoon, I don't know why I keep saying this afternoon and this evening, earlier tonight, because it's like, I don't know, 11:30 or something. Let's put that about right there. I did some more of the pages of all of these that I showed you. I hope I showed you. If not, you won't have a clue what I'm talking about. For some reason, it's been a little bit of a stressful evening, and my brain don't want to work. So let's just put that like that. Okay, that looks good, but I am going to put just a little bit of glue under that edge and that edge and that edge, and a little right there. Okay, and my lid. Okay, now I think the next thing I want to put on, I'm not going to do it exactly mirror image, I just wanted to make sure I put roughly the same thing on it. I'm going to turn this one this way. Oh, it goes this way. It's hard to tell, it's so upside down. And maybe do that, something like that, so it's sort of in the same place. Could turn it around that way. Could even put that slightly over. But this is, I don't know, it's too much of the same. But I don't mind it like that. Okay, I think I'm going to do that. And then we're just going to put that there. And stick that roughly there. That'll go in there. And put that there. And then this will go in there. And I have a piece of lace. Something like that. Okay. That passes inspection. Sort of, kind of. I think one of the keys with collaging is making sure that it looks balanced. That seems to be what I see most in watching different people do collages. It's about balancing what goes on it, I think. Now let's just do this little part. Okay. And then this little stampy thing that I cut out from it's just punched from a double layer of dictionary page. I'm making a pocket from it. So when it dries, I'll be putting this little thing in it. And then we're going to do a little nest right here. I think this looks like an abalone or mother of pearl button. Put that right on like that. And I'm going to put this aside and let it dry, and I'll show you some of the other stuff I did while some of this is drying, and then I'll come back and punch the hole for that. So let me just put that there. Okay, one of the things that I did was I colored the page that went with this page, and I think I still need to add some stuff to this side, because I've decided what I want to do is make these pages. So for whatever journal they end up going into, basically it's going to be part of a signature. And I want this to be in the middle, so this might be the middle of a signature. And I want this on the front. And I guess I want that on the front. So for these particular ones, there's two of these with the graphics all over. So these I'm going to turn into and make them part of a signature. And then I'm going to do the same with this one, but I've not colored this page yet. I'm going to use some of my green ink. I've got 2 or 3 different greens. I made one from Southern Magnolia Leaves that I think will work really good. It's a light olive green, and so I think that's what I'm going to use on these. But I haven't done that yet but I did do these just probably not even a couple hours ago. I went ahead and tore the pages down. This is for the primrose, and then this is the 2 pages that go with the primrose. And so this will end up being a project like this. This will be a collage project. And so I've got those ready. And then this one was the Christmas rose, or Helleborus as I know it. And so I did that. I put yellow on, and so that's what this is. Will also be a collage project. And then I had a daisy, an English daisy, even though it doesn't say English on it, but this is, over here in the US, this is what we call an English daisy. If you go to the nursery to buy one, it'll say English daisy on it, as opposed to what we have growing on the roadsides called oxeye daisy and other types of chrysanthemum type daisies. So anyway, a little lesson in horticulture there. So for this one, I pulled out the carnelian, like, it's not quite red and not quite pink, and it's also a little bit translucent. So I use that with some coffee and tea to make these pages for this one when I do it. So this is also a collage project. And then this is the heather. And I did the same with it because it's also red. And I could use more red or make it darker, but I thought that was good enough. And the ones I still have yet to do are the wild pansies, or violets as I know them. So I don't have any purple ink made, quote unquote, that I can remember of. I swatched all my inks, so I'll double check, but if I don't, I'll be using some light purple paint mixed up with alcohol to do these with some coffee and tea for the background. So that's what this will be. I don't have any blue. We have some blue wildflowers that grow, and then you have blue hydrangeas. Well, right now, if you want to make ink from plants, don't bother with hydrangeas. They have no color whatsoever. It's just a waste of time. They're beautiful on the plant, and they're beautiful dried, but they do not make ink of any color at all. We also have a wildflower that grows in the mountains and bogs and wet places called a lobelia, and it's a type of cardinal flower, and there's a really bright red variety and a blue variety, and so I tried those. It's a true blue flower. It doesn't make ink either. This spring I did not buy any larkspur. I did plant one in my garden summer before last, and it didn't make it. It's just too hot here for it. And so I've not tried anything else blue. There's just not that much that's blue. But I do have some dried purple dahlias that I got from my mom last year when they dug up theirs, because where they live they have to dig up the tubers. But I don't have any ink made from it. And I like to cure my ink for at least 3 weeks before I use it, so I don't think I'll wait for that. So this will end up being some shade of blue paint. And then this one, the snowdrops are white, but I don't want white, of course, so I'm going to mix up some green. And I'm going to do a different green. It'll be a brighter spring green, and I know that I have some ink that is more of a spring green, but right now I can't remember which plant it was that I did it from. But anyway, that's the plans for the remainder of these. So what I'm going to do here is get my little hole punchy thing, and I'm going to put a hole about right there. My glue's still not quite dry, but it'll have to do, I suppose. And I did not bring my eyelets back over here, so let me get them. I'll be right back. Okay, there's my bag of bulb pins, and okay. Now, I did explain all this on the video that I threw away, but back when my girls were little, I made everything that they wore until they got into high school, so until they were like 12, 13, 14. And so I used this little thing a lot to set not just eyelets, but to set snaps, especially when I was making baby clothes. So now I have a silent setter, I just didn't want to get it out. So this works good enough for what I'm doing. But I don't want to lose my little parts because it's hard to work these things if you don't have the little rubber band thing on it. So then, oh wait, I already have my bulb pin on here, yay. So let's see if I can do this without sticking myself. Maybe not. I might have put it too close, but as you know, where there's a will, there's a way, and we'll make it work one way or the other. Alright. Now, I like to turn my bulb pins upside down because they seem to hold better, but I think I did put it lower down the other one. Oh, and now the whole thing's going to come out. Okay, we're not going to take that out. Well, I guess I could, actually. It's very thin paper right here. So I'm going to reinforce it with a little bit of glue. And that will help. And then I'm going to put this in. Which way am I going to do it? Let's do it this way. Turn it around. So the right side will be in the front when I get through. Hopefully I did that right. Okay, we're going to pretend I did. Not so sure about that one. Okay, that will work. Alright. There we go. Let's see, I need to put this little hickey in here. So there's a wild daffodil, 2 pockets. Now what did I do with, I did make the backs of them, or at least I thought, no, I haven't done it yet. Okay, here's the piece of paper that will go, that will be pockets for these, but I forgot to do it. But anyway, that is the project this week with book pages, making giant pockets, giant collage pockets. And for me, I'm putting these in the inside covers of journals on each side, and then the pages that go with them will go in as a little journaling card. So thank you all very much for watching, and hopefully if I can get the rest of these done before this goes out, then I will post all of those on my community page. So have a good night, and I will see you again soon with another video.